Okay, now we're here to show you how to level a pin sight. That's what most of you bow hunters are going to be dealing with. And be honest with you, the bow hunters are the ones that are going to get penalized the most by not having their sights level. They're the ones that are the most inclined to get a shot that's extreme, especially out west here when we're hunting mule deer or even mountain goats, or even like I said, we illustrated earlier, hunting whitetails. If you're in some steep hill country, I mean, you could have some pretty severe downhill shots, and that's where you're really going to get penalized. On top of that, most hunting bows are, a lot shorter axle to axle. They're a lot shorter brace height. They're a lot faster bows. Therefore, they're a little more critical. They're more sensitive to hand torque. They have higher let-offs typically, which allow this full draw shift to be quite a bit more than it would be on a target bow, or even a hunting bow like this that has a pretty high brace height. So we're going to go ahead and show you how to do this. Now, most pin sights, most basic pin sights look just like this one here. Okay, there's no third axis adjustments to the sight. Everything should be machined theoretically perfect. Okay, the first thing we need to do is ensure that this first axis bar is parallel to the riser, because later on we're going to be using this level, and the only place we have to clamp it is on the riser or on the bar here. So we want to make sure that our first axis of the sight is level to this riser, which puts the sight bar here perfectly plumb with it also. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the Hamskea Easy Third Axis Level, and you can put the bow up against a door jamb if you want to hold it straight up and down, and just make sure this is straight up and down to the limb pockets. Now, a more accurate way to do that, especially in this scenario where we're actually going to attach the indicator level to the bar or the riser, is to actually use two of these sight levels. Okay, you probably want to use the one here with the pin sight on it, and we're going to put it, I like to use the extension bar. That works extremely well. Most sights, it's got a really big flat spot on it. It doesn't really matter if it's tilted or straight up and down. You just want to be able to see these 2 points, and the further apart we get those 2 points, the more accurate we are. You can then take the outside surface of this Hamskea level, put it on the first axis bar, and make sure that the spot we're clamped on here, whether it's the riser or the extension bar, that these two match. Okay? Now these two match perfectly, which is good. That tells me this manufacturer did a good job in making that sight. Second, we have to ensure that our second axis is perfect. Now most pin sights are perfect. Okay? Most pin sights, when you level that sight bubble, those pins are straight up and down. But every once in a while I find one that's not right, so we need to double check it. Again, just take your Hamskea Easy Third Axis Level, put it on the first axis, and double check the level in the sight matches. Now this one does perfectly. We're good to go. Now all we have left to do is do the third axis. Now we're going to go ahead and take this indicator pin, and as we stated before, you understand why we use this this alignment pin. And the reason we want the alignment pin, now you could theoretically use your pins. Now, but your pins are only this far apart. So you're going to be much more likely to be off on your third axis than with 2 points that are 4 inches apart. So it's a lot more accurate to go ahead and use the Hamskea third axis level. Okay, and we'll just clamp it here on the sight bar, and then we're going to go over to our scribed line, and we'll show you what we're talking about. Okay, now we're back here to our scribed line, and we're going to show you what we're talking about. We have our Easy Third Axis Level clamped on the sight bar here, and both those bubbles match. Okay, when this bow's held in a horizontal position. Okay, we're then going to do the exact same thing we did with the tournament sight. Okay, we're going to draw the bow back. We're going to put this pin and this pin, one on the top, one on the bottom, and then verify that our level bubble is either on or it's off. Okay, that'll tell us if we're getting a static to full draw shift. Okay, we're just going to come up here at a very severe angle, draw the bow back, put the pin on the bottom and the top, and verify the level in the sight. Now this one is dead on. This bow has no static to full draw shift. Now the reason is probably because this bow has a pretty large brace height. Okay. Now let's go back over to the bench and show you a few of the other things that you might come across. Okay, now if this sight was off, for example, now if this bubble was off, there's several ways to adjust it. Now, if this particular type of sight, the only way to adjust it is either to knock that level bubble out and re-glue it in, which is not really practical. The simplest way to do it is just to go ahead and loosen your two mounting blocks here and put some shim stock like these feeler gauges up under the back here, and you'll just slide that back up in there. You can use anything, just about plastic, paper, and what that does is that will just tip that sight level back this way and compensate for the bow changing, the static to full draw change. Okay, that's pretty reliable for hunting, and you typically have less of a chance of going off or getting off in a hunting situation than a bow or a sight that actually has a third axis adjustment. If you look at these two sights here, we have a sight from Trueball here, pretty nice sight, lots of micro adjust to it, but the third axis adjustment here is actually in the bubble, and this is becoming more and more popular. Just got a screw here that allows you to loosen that and then just tilt that bubble back and forth this way to do it. Now you could leave it there and shim the block just like we did on the more simple version of that sight, but they make that available to you in the sight bubble here. Now this Montana Black Gold sight, the third axis adjustment is here in the bar. Okay, this shifts the whole unit left to right. Okay, and it's a really rock solid adjustment. With this particular setup, you screw one out and one in, so you've got the screws working against each other, and it's really a rock solid setup too. So no matter what you got, you just got to be able to assess what type of adjustment you have and then make that adjustment. And if those two pins are dead on that line and your level bubble's level, you got a perfectly level sight and have nothing to worry about. So that's about all there is to know about sight leveling. Okay, there's one thing I'd like to just talk to you about real quickly. If you think if you ever get to the point where you bend these sight pins, or you think they're bent or not reading true, just clamp you a straight edge in the Hamskea level like this, okay? And that'll allow you just to measure that distance, because it's pretty important that that's parallel, and you know that by just measuring the distance from those pin heads to the straight edge. If they're exactly the same, then that's perfectly parallel to the first axis. Okay, that's really all you need to know about sight leveling. I hope you really learned a lot, and I think this is a very comprehensive course that we went through. Should teach you everything you need to know. Feel free to give us a call at customer service if you'd like, and we can go through any details that you might have misunderstood. We look forward to bringing many products to you from Hamskea Archery Solutions, and I think you'll learn to trust us with the first-class products for your archery needs. So, thanks a lot, and good luck shooting.